Hello, all, and welcome to Astro Wheel of Fortune. My name is Vlada, and I read tarot. And today I'm doing a reading on your November predictions. So, this is going to be predictions and forecasts for November. If you watch these quite regularly with me, you know that I do a general overview and then we look into the material and physical reality, things to do with maybe career, things to do with money, but also just like your physical presence and your physical reality. We also look into your emotional and relational reality, so things to do with your relationships, platonic, romantic, familial, and just how you express yourself emotionally. And then, of course, we go in with like self development, spiritual development, and spiritual evolution for the month as well. So that's going to be the focus for November, just like all the other monthly predictions that I do. You can pause the video for a little while if you want to take some time to decide which group you're being pulled to. If you enjoyed this reading, just make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. It helps me with my engagement. It helps other people find my channel. It helps me find collaborators and people that I can connect with and work with as well, which, you know, is really, really important to me. So if you can bring more engagement to my channel, I would really appreciate it. Even if you just want to say hello or drop like an emoji in the comments below, that would be really, really helpful. I would really appreciate it. If you want to support me further, you can also support me on Patreon, where I do more pick a card readings on more topics. I do a variety of topics. I also sometimes do 18 plus readings on my Patreon. Sometimes I do mini readings for my patrons as well. So if you're interested in supporting me further and getting more content by me, definitely check out my Patreon. That's in the description box below. And if you want a private reading, you can get it on Etsy. The Etsy link is down below as well. So head there if you would like a private reading with me. And if you're feeling generous, if you really enjoy this reading and you're feeling generous, feel free to tip. You can tip with the super thanks button at the bottom of this video. There's like a button at the bottom. You can tip through YouTube, or you can tip me on PayPal. So the PayPal link is down below as well. So that's all the ways that you can support me. You can also support me on my Instagram, which is at Astro Wheel of Fortune. And if you would like to connect with me and collaborate with me and work with me in some capacity, or you would just like to connect with me, you know, and see the potential of a collaboration, you can also reach out to me by email, and that's astrowheeloffortune@gmail.com. So yeah, I think I've listed off everything. But anyway, we're going to get into this reading, the November reading. Pause the video if you need more time, and I'm going to get into the reading with group number 1. Let's get into it. I'm going to put these cards away. And we're going to get started with group number 1. So we're going to lay out all the oracle cards that I have pre-shuffled first, and then we'll see what the tarot cards have to say about the individual areas of life. So group number 1, we've got wings. You never needed those wings to fly. We've got 6th house, routine. We've also got imagine and envision, storyteller, armadillo spirit set healthy boundaries, and headspace, you are overflowing with creativity. There's a lot of creative energy here, like with the imagine and envision, storyteller, and the headspace card. But it feels like you are going to be directing your creative energy really effectively. There's something about the way that you're utilizing your creative energy that is very, like, you're directing it very well. There's almost a structure to the way that you're directing your creative energy. I feel like you're going to be creating boundaries around being creative in November. So maybe you're actually setting a really good routine for yourself in November for your own creativity, regardless of whether that creativity is for like a living, if you have a creative job, or if you're a creative kind of professional, or if you are creative as a hobby or as something that is more leisurely. This feels like someone who is saying to themselves, right, I'm going to commit and I'm going to, this kind of feels like, let's say you wanted to write a book. Let's say you wanted to write a novel, and you're saying to yourself, well, no matter what, 3 times a week, I'm going to sit down at this time, let's say, I'm going to write. And maybe you're saying to yourself, I don't have specific parameters of what I'm going to write. I'm not saying to myself I need to write a certain amount of pages. You're not saying that to yourself, but you're saying at these times, this is my schedule where I am being creative. Or like maybe you're trying to create a work of art, and so you're saying to yourself, from this time to this time on these days during the week, I am sitting down and I'm being creative and I'm putting my energy towards this project. So that is a really big energy that I'm picking up on here. Something very creative. I think you're going to be very abundantly overflowing with creativity, but you're going to be channeling it in a very organized sort of way. You're bringing a sense of routine and organization into your creative flow. It's not creative flow that you're just only exuding, or you're not expelling your creative energy only when inspiration strikes. It's a lot more structured, it's a lot more mindful and intentional. And I think you're going to be setting a lot of boundaries with yourself, kind of being accountable to yourself is coming through here, but especially around creativity for some reason. I'm not necessarily getting accountability for other things, although there could be certain elements of that. But the main thing that I'm getting is like accountability for your creativity and how you channel your creativity. I'm almost getting like, I don't want to waste this creative energy. So you could find this burst of creative energy coming in the month of November, and feeling like, I don't want to waste this creative energy. I don't want to waste this creativity. So I want to channel it with a lot of intention and a lot of structure. I'm also noticing we've got 30 and 3. So there's like the number 3 is standing out to me here. We've got number 8 as well, but the number 3 is really standing out. And the number 3 is a very kind of like communicative, creative energy. The number 3 is also the number of the Empress, which is also very, like, I think you're going to be very creative in November, but you need to set some boundaries and some routines for yourself so that you can channel that creativity accordingly, and that you're not channeling this creativity in like that all this creative energy doesn't go to waste, is basically what I'm getting. Some of you might actually find that in October, maybe you are not being super creative, and maybe you have been very depleted in your creative energy. And that could be because you're getting ready for this very strong creative burst in November. I'm picking up like, especially if you've been feeling some sort of a creative block, get prepared for November to kind of like, the floodgates are going to be opened in terms of your creativity, whether it is for your business, whether it is for your creative projects on the side, whether you're in a creative career. I am just getting a very strong energy of floodgates of creativity opening, but what you need to be prepared with is some sort of structure or some sort of routine that allows you to channel that effectively. So that is going to be super, super important for November. So having boundaries with yourself, having accountability to yourself, like being accountable in how you channel this creative energy. So the 9 of Swords has come out, but I haven't asked the question yet. I didn't have the energy in my head, or I wasn't thinking about the question yet. So I'm just going to keep in mind that the 9 of Swords kind of wanted to jump out. I'm kind of getting that this creative energy, if it is not channeled effectively, if you're not setting yourself a good schedule for November, you're going to feel kind of slightly anxious, is what I'm picking up on. That you, because this creative energy can turn into anxiety if it's not channeled well, or doesn't have good parameters in which it is you're able to channel it, basically. So your guides are saying, make sure to set yourself some sort of a schedule around your creativity, because the flow is going to be extremely strong, but it's kind of like it can also be overwhelming if you don't know how to direct. Like, what I'm kind of being shown is like this dam being opened, or like the floodgates being open and all this water rushing out. A huge body of water rushing out can be really overwhelming, but if you were to create some sort of like pipe system, or if you were to create some sort of yeah, like some sort of artificial river system where there could be multiple streams for this abundance of water, this would be a lot more overwhelming, where you could send that water into very specific direction. So I feel like for some of you, it might be even important that you pinpoint the kind of creative projects that you have. It could even be multiple projects for some of you, and knowing how much creativity you want to assign to each one, kind of saying to yourself, okay, most of my creativity and this overly abundant creative flow, how much of it do I want to assign to this project, and how much of it do I want to assign to my business, and how much of it do I want to assign for like maybe hobbies and doing creative things that are more like hobby and interest based. So your guides want you to almost prematurely decide that, because once this creative energy comes in, you're gonna need a good system. The idea of a system keeps coming through, and I'm being reminded of that saying. It's like, instead of being too focused on discipline, create good systems. And like, I've heard that many times before, but I feel like it's really applicable for you here. Group number one, rather than relying on some sort of like self-discipline with this creativity, saying like, on the day I will be disciplined enough to do this kind of creative project, or channel my creative energy into this project. Say to yourself, I'm going to create a system. Like, even if you just said, for the month of November, I'm going to create a system. Let's say every week I know where I want to channel my creativity, and really, really sticking to that. That's going to be important. And I feel, especially if you're watching this before November, I'm really getting this idea of like, get yourself sorted with those systems. So let's have a look at your physical and material reality in the month of November. We've got the King of Cups. Well, the King of Cups lets me know that you're going to be pretty, there's a feeling of you being emotionally quite satisfied and relaxed about your material reality, not feeling emotionally unstable when it comes to thinking about matters of material, like, not really worrying about your material reality. I'm actually getting something very peaceful. Some of you might actually find that your material status, like money, finances, or just how grounded you feel in your material reality and your physicality, you feel very grounded, you feel very reassured, you feel very stable. There's definitely a very strong sense of stability for some of you. Now, I'm reading this King of Cups as the viewer, so it doesn't matter how, what gender you identify with or anything like that, but I am seeing you as this King of Cups. But for some of you, this could also be someone coming into your life, or someone being by your side, a man specifically, who helps you be more stable in your physical and material reality. But I think for the most part, that could be the case. But I feel like for the most part, I want to read this King of Cups as the person viewing this reading. So I do feel like you're just going to be very emotionally balanced when it comes to security from a physical point of view. It kind of feels like with the sixth house, that feels like a confirmation to me as well, because the sixth house kind of talks about consistency. Sixth house talks about things being reinforced, and I associate reassurance with the sixth house, like being reassured in your material reality, your physical reality. So there's something, I really like this energy. I feel like I haven't had this kind of secure energy around material reality in a monthly reading for a long time. This feels very stable. This feels very relaxed. And it feels kind of like I will know how to deal with any sort of issues that will pop up in the physical reality, because I feel reinforced, I feel reassured, and I feel supported in some sort of way. The sixth house to me is the house of support as well. It's the house of service, but also to me, it's the house of support. So there's something about your material and physical reality where you feel supported, stable, relaxed. You don't feel ungrounded. There's a very strong sense of grounding. We've got the sextile card here for this area of life as well. A combination of tension and flow, potential and a rewarding situation. I think a lot of you will feel like whatever you're doing in your career, a lot of you are going to be really happy with how your career is going, I feel, in the month of November. Things will feel rewarding. You will feel a sense of reward in your day to day life, your day to day work. I'm kind of getting, because sixth house can also be the house of work, like on a more day to day kind of scale. To me, it feels like you're getting into a flow in November, especially if you're creative, especially if you have your own business, anything that you kind of put energy into creatively. You're going to feel a sense of flow. You're going to feel a sense of consistency with it. Of course, obviously, provided you create these systems for yourself. But I think a lot of you are going to do it without an issue. Like you're really going to sit down and get yourself into a system. I think you're going to get a lot of feelings of like rewarding feelings from your creative work or working on your business, working on your enterprise. Um, Also, with the material and physical reality, I think you're going to get a rewarding sense from your. I'm just kind of getting, maybe you're getting really organized with your like place of dwelling, like wherever you're living. Your living situation could be becoming very consistent. I'm just getting, things are going to start getting a lot more consistent for you in November, and that's going to feel really good. It's going to make you feel very emotionally satisfied and relaxed. Like you're not going to be, it's going to be very hard to get you. I mean, we're going to look at your emotional state as well, but I feel like your emotional state is already kind of linked to the consistency and the systems that you're providing for yourself. I think you're going to like how consistently creative you're going to be. I think you're going to find the systems that you put in place before November and through November to be very rewarding. And I think emotionally, that's really going to be reflected. So we're going to have a look at your emotional state. Um, you know, the Nine of Swords that popped out there, I feel like that you're kind of breaking through some anxious feelings. For a lot of you, you could be eliminating a lot of anxiety through these systems. I really like this. I think this is one of the nicer readings that I've had for a monthly reading in a while. But let's get your emotional, wow. Okay. Let's get your emotional energy. Let's get your relationship energy. What is going on? We've got the Six of Wands. The idea of rewarding, things being rewarding, is really coming through here. I'm really picking up on that energy. It's like this feels really rewarding. You might find November is just like a really rewarding month for you. You might find November just feels, and I think in kind of like unexpected ways, finding a sense of reward in things that maybe you didn't think you would find a sense of reward in. I think most of all, it's like finding a sense of reward in your ability to set boundaries with yourself and other people, and your ability to set certain systems and routines in place for yourself, and your ability to, there's definitely an increase in your ability to follow through on things in November. And I think your guides are saying, please utilize that. The more you can utilize that sense of like, maybe there's something happening for you astrologically. Maybe there's some sort of interesting transits happening in your sixth house in November, where you are able to follow through on things so much better than you usually can. And your guides are kind of saying like, please utilize that ability, utilize that extra boost in your ability to follow through in November, especially when it comes to creative projects like a business, or some sort of like a creative project like that. You're creating a piece of music, you're creating a piece of art, whatever it is, you're creating a book. For a lot of you, I feel like a lot of you can be writers here, because sixth house is ruled by Mercury. Mercury reminds me of writing. There's a lot of Mercurial Virgo kind of energy for me here personally. Kind of makes me feel as well, maybe something you started in Virgo season, you're able to follow through on in November. But emotionally, I feel you're going to feel very rewarded in a lot of your relationships. I think you're going to be feeling recognized. I'm kind of getting people maybe complimenting you a lot. I feel like you're going to be like, there's a sense of you feeling like people are seeing you. Like, not that you're seeking validation from people, but there is a sense of you feeling validated. So I feel like that's kind of like an important point here. There's a sense of you feeling validated. Maybe someone's going to validate your feelings of how you've been feeling in the connection, in a relationship. We've got yin energy. I'm really getting the sense of you getting a lot of compliments or getting a lot of recognition, and people saying kind of like, wow, I'm really, there's a sense of people being like, wow, I'm really impressed by you. Like, you, I think maybe something to do with work, with projects, with business. Like, I'm really impressed by you. I keep hearing, I always knew you would be able to do it. I always knew you'd get there. Maybe someone is going to like really come out, like you might achieve something, and I am getting sense of reward and achievement. You might achieve something in November, and someone could come up to you, or someone could come out and be kind of like, I always knew you were going to make it. I always knew you were going to do it. I always had a lot of faith in you. Like, there's something, people just having, I'm getting a very pleasant November for you, group number one. I'm not going to lie. There's a sense of you just feeling seen. Like, I feel so seen. I feel like people get me. I feel like people understand me. I feel like people are hearing what I have to say. You might feel really lucky, but it's not like blind luck. It's this feeling of, I'm so lucky, but at the same time I know that this is not just luck. I worked really hard for this. There's a sense of like, I deserve this as well. So like, whatever rewards are coming your way, and I do see rewards coming your way in November. I feel like it's been a long time coming. I think a lot of work went into it, but I feel like in November your guides are saying like, really do utilize, because maybe that's why, maybe you're feeling motivated by something paying off, that it's giving you incentive and it's giving you the motivation to push even further. And your guides are kind of saying like, definitely utilize that, because you're going to be kind of like, you're going to be motivated by praise, you're going to be motivated by recognition, you're going to be motivated by validation. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think that's actually a really good thing. But your guides are saying, take those compliments, take that validation, take that recognition, and push it even further. You're not quite done here yet. I feel like there's some sort of big project that you're working on, or you want to pursue, that maybe didn't really know how to start, or didn't really know how to commence. But your guides are saying this November is going to be the perfect month for you to go, right, I'm really going to push for this. And very likely, because other people are going to be recognizing you for something else, or there's some sort of sense of reward, validation, being seen. Like, I just really get this feeling of like, wow, I finally feel seen by people. I finally feel understood, or recognized for my work. We've got the 8 of Cups for your spiritual and self-development. I feel like I want to clarify that a bit further with the 8 of Cups. Like, it does talk about leaving something emotionally behind. Detachment is really, maybe you're just going to be quite detached. There's a lot of emotional energy here. I feel like a lot of you're connected to your emotions, but with the King of Cups knows how to detach healthily and effectively from his emotions. King of Cups knows how to not dwell on emotions for too long, to the point where they become toxic and overtake. King of Cups knows how to not be lied to by emotion. King of Cups knows that emotions are very useful and important, but that they can also lie to you. Yeah, there's definitely a sense of detachment. I honestly see a really good November for you, group number one. And I don't say that just like for shits and giggles. I really feel this. Friends, like-minded groups, and humanitarian beliefs. This is the collective. The 11th house is the house of the collective. It's the house of also future and looking out for the collective in the future, looking out for the greater good of the collective. I think there's something kind of cool about you where you are you're not too hung up on your emotions, but at the same time, you're really emotionally aware and mature. This feels like a very mature month for you. It feels like I'm really getting this like, wow, I feel like a real adult, or I feel like I'm really like, because what does it mean to feel like an adult? I guess to feel like an adult is to feel like you're responsible to yourself and to other people, that you are not avoiding consequences or responsibilities, that you're not avoiding, that you're utilizing your gifts and ideas in the best possible way without making excuses. November is the month of like not making excuses. I think that's another really big thing. And anytime you feel tempted to make an excuse for yourself, you're really going to catch yourself. That you've matured into like this space where you're just like, I'm making an excuse for myself here. Why am I making this excuse? Analyzing why this excuse is being made by you. Why are you making this excuse? Why are you telling yourself that you can't do it? Why are you telling yourself that you're not capable? Why are you telling yourself that you... Because every time you make an excuse, you're basically saying, I'm not good enough to do this. And I think there's a lot of accountability that I'm picking up with you in the month of November, group number 1. But this accountability is really going to bring you into a beautiful place. I think you're going to be very creative and knowing how to channel that creativity very well. I'm seeing a lot of people recognizing you. I think you might feel really... like even people who have known you for years might all of a sudden say things that you're like, wow, like you do get me. Like maybe even people that you thought didn't see you fully for who you are, showing you that they see you and they hear you and they understand you. I feel like there's going to be a new level of feeling understood by others. And a lot of it could come from your creativity as well. So maybe through your creative projects or creative pursuits, and how you express yourself, you're able to show people what you mean by your existence, and people will really resonate with you. I feel like there's a sense of you feeling like people resonate with you in the month of November. And I think that's really beautiful. Again, the collective resonates with you, but you're not attaching yourself to that. You're not saying to yourself, oh my God, I need them to always resonate with me. You're kind of good with like, right now, this is a moment in time when I feel like so understood, like people resonate with me, people get me, but it's also okay that there will be moments again in my life where maybe I feel misunderstood. There's this sense of you, group 2 or group 1, understanding or having some sort of like epiphany that there will be moments in your life where you will feel deeply misunderstood. But November is going to show you that there's also going to be times in your life where you will feel understood to your core. And what a beautiful feeling that is basically what I'm getting. So that is really, really cool, group number 1. I actually think this is going to be a really cool month for you. Really don't underestimate how well this month could go for you. So I'm really happy for you, group number 1. We're going to keep moving. So thank you, group number 1. If you like this reading, do like, subscribe, and comment, especially with your feedback. And if you want to tip, you can tip me on my PayPal, or the description box has the link, or you can tip me with the super thanks button as well if you enjoy this reading. And if you want to connect with me for any private services, all the links are in the description box below as well. So I'm going to keep moving. We're moving into group number 2. Okay, group number 2, let's get into your reading. Let's see what is coming up for you in November. What is the energy around November for you? We've got Library, take control of your own narrative. Grand Cross. Rebirth and reinvention. Networker. Owl Spirit, you see clearly now. Show yourself unconditional love, self-love, confidence, and self-care. I am really getting that it's going to be important to march to the beat of your own drum in November. But it's kind of like how you're going to be looking at the balance of how do you connect with people, how do you network with people, how do you create with other people, collaborate with other people, and yet still march to the beat of your own drum. How do you work with people who have different visions and ideas to you and still make it work? It's going to be really important to prioritize what you want to do with your life, no matter how much somebody else wants you to do something. For some of you, this is going to be a family member wanting you to do something and trying to kind of convince you that you should be doing something very specific. And that's not going to resonate with you. And no, I don't want to do that. I want to do my own thing. But at the same time, kind of feeling confused and wondering, does this person know better than I do? For some of you, this could be a partner. For some of you, this could be a friend. For some of you, this could be coworkers, a boss. That's the energy that's coming through. There's a very strong sense of you learning to balance. Yes, this person might think that this is best for me. Doesn't mean that this person wants something bad for me. They just think that this is best for me. But just because they think that this is best for me does not mean that it is actually best for me. And I need to tune into myself, my own intuition, and my own wisdom to figure out what is truly best for me. So, you're going to have to be very grounded. I'm also seeing there's going to be a need for cleansing. A lot of cleansing will be needed, especially if you're planning on seeing a lot of people in the month of November. If you're going to be around a lot of people, it's going to be really important that you cleanse yourself in whatever way feels resonant, whether it be cleansing yourself like with cleansing baths, cleansing showers, or whether it be cleansing by smudging or cleansing through meditation or cleansing by grounding in nature. There will be a need for cleansing your mind from other people's thoughts, opinions, ideas, advice, and reconnecting with your own inner wisdom. Seeing clearly for yourself rather than taking other people's opinions, taking other people's advice, and using that more as a navigation system for your own inner compass rather than allowing other people's opinions and other people's ideas of what would be best for you to become your compass. It's like deciding what you feel is the most right thing to do for yourself first and then applying other people's advice to that later, rather than taking people's advice and trying to understand what's best for you through that advice is the way that I'm getting here. But I do feel like there might be some people that are going to be a little bit pushy with it. Like, I think you should do this. This is going to be the best thing for you to do. I know better. I know better than you know. And that is never the case, So, let's see what comes up for your material reality then. I do feel like there's going to be a lot of people interacting with you in the month of November. I think maybe that's why you're just getting conflicting opinions. Maybe you're trying to make a decision of some kind. Maybe you're going through some sort of transition in your life and you're trying to decide, like, what should I do? And maybe you're willingly, actively pursuing advice from people. But be careful that it doesn't cloud your own judgment, your own compass, like I said. So we've got material reality represented. Yeah, definitely. I think for some of you, this is a career choice that you're making. Maybe you're thinking about moving. Maybe you're thinking about something to do with your material and physical reality. Basically, this seems like a choice. What job do I go for? What career should I pick? Where should I live? Where should I move? And I think you're going to be you're going to be at risk at getting yourself very confused with this if you are not cleansing yourself, if you are not setting some sort of like a strong opinion for yourself before you go to other people for advice. You're gonna have to be very careful around advice, especially, is what I'm getting. look, everyone has an opinion on everything, right? That's kind of what I'm picking up on. It's like at the end of the day, there's always going to be someone with an opinion on something. It's like there's always going to be. Um, Aries energy is also, no offense to Aries. This it's just something that this is reminding me of. But like Aries energy, kind of like is loud and boastful before it thinks, but it's also is reminding me of needing to be very independent in your decision making when it comes to your material and physical reality. um but this also, so basically what this is reminding me of is like Aries energy can have an opinion on something before it actually fully went in and formed an opinion on something. Aries energy can be loud and, you know, very outspoken about opinions that are not maybe fully formed. And this is reminding me of this kind of like, there could be a lot of people giving you a lot of opinions on something that they don't even have a fully formed opinion on, that they don't even really know where they stand on, but they just feel they need to express their opinion to, because that's how we express ourselves as well, with our opinions, with our where we stand, what we believe about a certain thing. So be careful that you are not seeking advice from people who just love to be opinionated or love to dull their dole their opinion out. Yeah, there might be a couple of people around you that your guides are kind of like, consider if you're going to this person for their opinion, are they giving you a true opinion that they've thought about, that they've dissected, that they've considered, or are they someone who just likes to have an opinion on everything? Maybe avoid people who have an opinion on everything. When it comes to whatever this advice is, I think you're going to be seeking advice for something practical, is what I'm seeing in November. That's coming through stronger and stronger here. And your guides are saying make sure that you create your own opinion about whatever this practical decision is first. Maybe decide which option you're leaning towards a little bit more first. Maybe journal about it. Say to yourself, option A or option B. Which one am I leaning towards? Which one? Write out the pros and cons of, this career, that career, this place of living, this place of living. Kind of give yourself that space to decide for yourself, even if it's not a full decision, and then go for advice and then go asking people on what they think you should do. Because I do feel like there is a risk of you becoming overly clouded because, again, seeking too many opinions and too much advice from people like everyone and their auntie, everyone and their granny, is not the best tactic for you. For you, I'm even getting the advice of like, decide, okay, I want to ask for advice from this person, this person, this, maybe only choose like 3 people to ask advice for, and be very careful. Maybe write out or journal, why do I want to ask these people for advice? I'm almost getting, there needs to be a really careful kind of sense of planning around even like why and who you're asking for advice and why. Like, why are you even going to these people? Because asking for advice from someone, you might feel like it's a good idea at first, but if you were to sit and think about it for a little while, if you were to sit and journal about it for a little while, you might actually realize, actually, why the hell am I even asking this person for their opinion when I know they don't either A, don't know anything about this subject, or B, I know the advice that they're going to give me is not going to be well thought out, or maybe this person is just not the person for this type of advice. So consider carefully who you're going to advice for, and make sure that this advice is not before your own decision. But yeah, I'm getting maybe even multiple decisions will have to be made materially and practically in the month of November. But I think most of all, your guides are just saying your sense of independence will be challenged in when making or not making an opinion, making a decision based on other people's advice. So yeah, let's look at your emotional and relationship energy. Um, okay, I'm gonna take the Queen of Swords as well. Six of Pent. I'm so strongly getting that you need to be careful. I don't. I feel like a broken record, but be careful who you go to advice for. Be careful who you ask for opinion. Set very strong boundaries around. I also feel like don't let just anybody to insert their opinion on something. Like don't just let just anybody to come in and be like, oh well, this is actually what I think about this. Kind of know when to say, sorry, I actually didn't ask you for your opinion. I didn't ask for your input in this situation. And again, not to be rude about it, but like it's just like, I actually don't need your opinion on this. Like I've made up my mind. Knowing when to do that as well is going to be super important. The topic of boundaries is like it's the second time that the topic of boundaries is kind of coming through in this November reading, but for different reasons. Like group one was completely different reason, but this is really interesting. We've got Mars, move forward and defend self. Mars energy is very decisive. It also rules Aries. We've got like very Martian energy here with you. You're going to need to be more decisive than what you're used to, I think, in the month of November. With people, you're going to have to be a lot more firm. Don't allow anybody to make you feel like you're wrong in what you're deciding for your life. That is for sure. Especially if you're set on something and you felt really good about a decision, and then someone comes in and goes, oh my God, are you sure you're going to do that? That's a bit crazy. Or like, I don't know if that's really good for you. Allow yourself to defend your decision. And I don't mean like defend your decision, like over explain the decision, but kind of saying like, no, I'm happy with this decision. This is definitely the decision for me. I understand that you may not completely agree or understand why this is the best thing for me to do for my life, but that's your opinion, and I would appreciate it if you keep it to yourself. Like I'm really I'm getting this feeling of like, I appreciate if you could keep your opinion to yourself because I didn't ask. That's the feeling that I'm getting. Some of the things that you're going to be doing, or maybe some of the decisions that you're going to be making in November, could maybe even trigger certain people, like maybe certain family members or certain friends. And the thing is, I think it's because some of the decisions that you're making are kind of ballsy. There is some risk involved, I feel, but I think you're not stupid here. You know what you're doing. And I think some people are going to be triggered because they know that they could never make a ballsy move like that. And that is like, that's the plain way of putting it, honestly. Like, I don't think I could put it any other way. I think some people are going to be a little bit triggered by the fact that you are making some ballsy moves in your life. And you're like, okay, maybe it won't pay off, but I am going to try. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to give it a go. So, that's very interesting here. Group number 2. And also, like, I just feel with the Six of Pentacles in reverse and the Queen of Swords, I just really feel this energy of, like, be careful that you also don't allow advice that is genuinely really shit advice, or like not really great advice, to infiltrate an otherwise well thought out decision. Because don't underestimate, not all advice is good advice. Like some people give advice, and some people also deliberately mislead you with their advice. Deliberately, like I'm not saying that people are trying to like sabotage you, because like I don't want you to be anxious and thinking that everyone wants to sabotage you. That's not going to be the case. I think for the most part, what you need to be worried or not worried about, but like kind of cautious of, is that there are people who don't input some sort of like opinion or advice that is like not well thought out. They don't know anything about the subject. They haven't researched it as well as you have. And maybe their advice is coming from a place of fear or lack mentality or something like that. So be very firm with your opinions, be very firm with your decisions. And if someone, if you're feeling threatened by someone else's opinion on your decision, really consider why that is and really process why that is. So we're looking at your spiritual and self-development. We've got the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man is a very spiritual card in itself. I think you're going to, wow, we've got the Empress card. I actually didn't mean to get another card, but I just kind of kept shuffling. So your spiritual, there's a feeling of staying put in your spirituality. I think you're going to be observing. It's kind of like while in the physical reality, you're making these decisions and I think you're going to be quite active in November in terms of like taking steps towards your future. I think spiritually you're going to be like maybe putting it on a hold, like not trying to advance spiritually, not trying to push yourself to become like more spiritual and more spiritually advanced. There's something about your spirituality that is kind of like on hold or on pause. Like you're not researching spirituality, you might even like decrease your spiritual practices, like maybe not do as many spiritual rituals. Maybe, if you do divination, maybe you're going to reduce your divination practice in some sort of way, because there's more focus on just existing and being very aware of what is going on. Observing is going to be really important. The owl energy is very observant energy as well. So you're in this very observational state, but also like at the same time you're taking action with certain decisions in your life. You're very aware, and don't let anybody make you feel or make you think that you are not aware. I'm kind of getting, it's like you have 20/20 vision and someone is convincing you that you're blind or that you need glasses. It's like the gaslighting is happening here. So I think you have a very clear idea of what is ahead of you. Like you've got a very clear path figured out for yourself in November and the steps that you want to take and what you want to do. But there might be someone in your life kind of like, and again, doesn't feel like it's coming from a place of like they want to sabotage you or destroy your path. It's more like they are just assuming that they know better than you, but like that is them being in their own ego. It's somebody sitting there being like, I know better than you, I know better than you. I know what's best for you. You're like, you haven't thought this through, when in fact you have. You've actually really thought this through, and you didn't just think it through with your mind, you've thought it through with your spiritual being and your physicality as well. So you may have to set some boundaries with this person, because this person, it could be like this person could be older than you and maybe that's why they think that they know better. This person could be your parent, that's why they think they know better. This person could just be really in their ego and that's why they think they know better. This person could be of a higher status than you and have more money than you, and maybe that's why they think they know better. Eighth house. It's so funny. I think your spiritual energy is going to be like, I feel like on the surface, you're not going to be doing much in terms of your spirituality, or like, kind of staying low key, but there's something that's happening in the background spiritually that is elevating you in a huge way. But I think maybe you won't even notice this until post November, because you're going to be very preoccupied with all these decisions that you have to make and all these choices that you have to make. Kind of feels like November is going to be quite busy in terms of decision making. I'm even getting, that decision fatigue or choice fatigue. After November, you could even be tired because there were so many decisions to be made, so many things to kind of like work out. I think after November, you might need like, you may need a lot of rest. Like you might feel like you need to nap a lot, you might feel like you need to sleep a lot, and I kind of feel like after November it's a really good idea to really lean into that, because I am getting a sense of busyness for you for November. November could be a month where it's not going to be the easiest month. Again, a lot of decisions will have to be made. You might even have like that choice fatigue at the end of November, but you will be shocked by how much November elevates you in the end. It's like there's an elevation of your life Um, Very strong energy of rebirth, but you won't even notice it as November progresses. You might even feel like, oh my god, I'm just so busy, but nothing's moving. But I feel like I'm busy, constantly needing to make decisions. I need to make this choice. And then post November, it's like, oh my goodness, like I'm actually moving into a very different time in my life. I'm exhausted. I need a nap. Um, and actually my life is changing quite a bit. Like I would be interested for this group, when I do the December reading, I would love for like to see what is your December reading going to be like, because I'm willing to bet it's going to be quite like a different setting for you. So if you felt like things have been mundane or all the same for the last few months, November is kind of like the catalyst where you're changing a lot through a series of decisions. You're going to have to really be taking initiative on those decisions, regardless of what someone else has to say about them. So, but don't be afraid. Don't let that stop you from getting advice. Don't let that stop you from asking people what they think. Just make sure, as I said, like what was coming through is like, check in with yourself. It's like, who do I want to ask? You know? Um, in terms of relationships, also, I feel like your guides are saying focus on yourself as much as you can. Even if you are in a relationship or you have close friendships you want to maintain, maybe manage expectations, because I do feel like you will need a lot of space for yourself. Again, to clear your head so that you can make these decisions quite clearly. So, maybe manage expectations like, hey, you won't see me that much this November. You won't get to speak to me that much. I'm going to be very busy. I'm going to be doing this and this and this. So, yeah, managing expectations with your relationships could be important. So that's what I have for you, group number 2. That was a really cool reading, very interesting. If you like this reading, do like, subscribe, and comment, especially with your feedback. And of course, if you want to tip me, tips are appreciated. You can tip me with the super thanks button, or you can tip me following my PayPal link down below. And if you want any services that I provide, they're listed in the description box below as well. But we're going to keep moving, and we're moving on to group number 3. So group number 3, let's get into it. Let's see what is happening for you in November. So we have Tower, unplug and relax for a spell. We've got Fire Element, desire. Seasonal harvest. We have Angel, Chameleon spirit, and all eyes on you, scrutiny, entrapment, and attention. This feels very random. The energy here feels very random. That's the first thing that I'm noticing. It's almost like not one card seems to have like cohesive way of connecting to one another is what I'm getting. There could be a desire to do a lot of random things, kind of like feeling like you want everything all at once. You may feel like you want this thing, and it's like, I want a very chill month, but I also want to be very busy, but I also want to be doing this, but I also want, with the chameleon energy, that's kind of what I'm getting, this sense of maybe even almost restlessness of like, I want to do this, and 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 before you know it, you actually haven't done any of those things. So your guides are saying, I feel like what your guides are saying, first of all, the way to start November, like what would be the best way to start your November? Well, it would be to actually give yourself maybe a few days where you do absolutely nothing, where you meditate, where you kind of stay idle and blank in some sort of way, where you're able to ground. Beginning your November with a very slow paced energy, maybe not keeping the beginning of your November very busy. Like, I feel like at the beginning of your November, your guides are saying, like, try not to stay booked and busy. Try to stay kind of idle, free. And I feel like as you move through November, things are going to start getting busier and busier and busier as you move through it. But I feel there is this desire to do almost contradictory things, like wanting to do something very chill, but also wanting to be super active, wanting to see a lot of your friends, but at the same time wanting to be completely alone. So you could actually be in this kind of indecisive energy where your soul is longing for a lot of things all at once. And maybe you need to really tap into why that is. That is more important than what it is that you're going to be doing. It's this awareness, like, why am I so obsessed with doing things that are contradictory, and why is it so hard for me to narrow that down and to say to myself, like, this week I'm going to be alone and next week I'm going to see my friends? Why is it so hard for me to organize that for myself this month? Try not to stretch yourself too thin. There might be people who are reaching out to you, telling you that they need you, telling you that you're the only person who can help them. I think especially those of like those friends or people in your life who have kind of used you before for assistance, for help, for validation. Watch out for that. That is something that I'm really picking up on. Like, watch out for people wanting validation. Like, people I'm not saying, people that who are good to you and like never took it for granted. But I'm definitely getting like there could be for some of you that there could be someone who ghosted you popping up or something like that and being like, hey, like, I really want to see you again. Like, I'm picking up on that for sure. And again, it's like they need validation from you. They're reaching out. You already know how this story goes. You know how they go. They're gonna ghost again or something like that. This could also be happening because you are shining in some sort of way. There's something about you that is kind of eye catching, is the word that I want to say. Something is standing out about you. And I feel like there will be people from your past wanting to kind of, oh, wow, I split the deck and we've got the star card. I'm definitely getting something very eye catching about you, or you're achieving something, or there's something that's visible about you on a more public sense. You looking better, feeling better, maybe. Maybe that's why you have so much energy, just do so many different things. But there's definitely this sense of like people are noticing you shine, people are noticing you with a seasonal harvest. Like, you might be getting some sort of, I don't know if you were attracted to group number one, very different energy in many ways, but there is something of like you getting your rewards. If you're attracted to group number one, maybe check it out as well. But I feel that maybe you're getting some sort of like a reward for your hard work, or maybe you are getting rewarded in a way, like maybe if you've been exercising or taking care of yourself, there's a physical reward that is showing up. Let's look at your material and physical reality. Maybe that will confirm something for us. But with the chameleon, I'm also getting that energy of like maybe looking very different, but like there's something very I keep getting the sense of you looking very intriguing to people, especially people from your past. And also be careful of people who are reaching out from a curiosity sake. Like when people kind of reach out and they go, oh my God, how have you been? Like, let's catch up, let's talk. Sometimes it's genuine, and sometimes it is something that is a little bit more curiosity based, like collecting information. So, Knight of Cups for your physical and material reality. I really feel like you're going to be looking really attractive in November. There is a strong sense of attractiveness that I'm picking up on, but there's something like that also can't be fully pinpointed by this attractiveness. It's like not easily understood, or not easily, it's kind of like people can't really pinpoint what's different, but there's something different about you. It's like can't quite put my finger on it. I can't quite figure out what's different about group number 3, but there's something different about group number 3. I feel like you could be getting a lot of romantic offers based on your looks, and while that can be actually nice, and and it's not just your looks, I think it's also your energy. You have to also be careful around that, especially people who maybe would have rejected you in the past or ghosted you in the past, all of a sudden coming out of the woodwork because you're looking better, your energy is more vibrant, you've transformed in some sort of way. Just be careful about that. I think you need to be very aware that your appearance, there's a lot about appearance that's coming through for you, group number 3. Your appearance, and this includes this energetic, something very energetic, and I feel like with this angel card, there's something quite angelic looking about you lately. Like, your energy feels very, very vibrant and pure to the point where it's almost angelic, that is making people want to pursue you in this angelic energy. So I'm saying just be careful of, like, know how to discern between who is reaching out because they're kind of wanting to feed on this angelic energy and this vibrant energy that you're exuding, and they have a desire towards you purely on your physical, the way that you look physically, and then who is actually coming through. While yes, they're attracted to you physically, they're also coming through in a very kind of authentic way. We've got Pisces, intimacy, intuition, and compassion. Very watery energy with the physical and material reality here. I am mostly getting physical material reality connected to your appearance for some reason. There's something very dreamy about you in November. I'm hearing dreamboat. So there's something very dreamy about you. Like, oh, I just keep getting they're so dreamy. I think a lot of people are going to be attracted to you, but it's going to be this attraction that is not necessarily super visceral or super sexual or super, there's not this kind of physical attraction, although that can be a part of it. It's a lot more ethereal, and your dreaminess, your kind of angelic energy is pulling people in. I just keep getting angelic. Like, he, she, they are looking angelic. They're looking angelic. I feel like something about your aura as well is contributing to that. And but you know what, with this, something that I'm getting, you could actually use this to your advantage. I'm not saying look, I'm not saying anything, but you could use this angelic energy to your advantage in your material world. I'm kind of getting, you would be able to get discounts. There's something about you seeming very innocent, very cute, very angelic, that you could get a discount, that you could get in for free somewhere. Don't underestimate how you could get discounts and free shit for how you're looking and how your physicality is appearing in the month of November. Such a random message, but that's coming through. I'm also getting, you could use this to your advantage to get into places, get into jobs. If you have some interviews lined up, this energy is really going to help you get into jobs, get into, get offers. There's a really big thing with the Knight of Cups on the physical level of getting offers very easily. So I would recommend, if you are looking for a new job, if you're wanting to work somewhere, this would be the perfect month to apply to work there, to email them, to show up on their doorstep. I don't know, whichever it is, to email that person, to contact that person. Especially if it can be in person, where your physical energy and your physical body can be really observed and seen. You can really use this to your advantage on a physical level. If you have interviews lined up for November, this is really going to serve you. I'm really picking up on that. Okay, let's keep moving. So this angelic energy is really interesting. It's like you could manipulate people with this angelic energy if you wanted to, but I'm not condoning that. But it's just something that people are going to be under your spell. in the month of November. I'm really getting that more and more. The more I tune into this energy of this group, you can you could really swindle some people. There's a almost like I could scam you so easily. This just really reminds me of that, like it's like when people assume that someone's very innocent and a cutie and just like, wouldn't hurt a fly. And yeah, maybe they wouldn't hurt a fly, but they would know how to trick you. They would know how to, you know rob you. No, I'm joking. I'm not saying that you're gonna rob people here, but I am just picking up on this energy of like, use this to your advantage. Why not? So if you find a way to ethically use this to your advantage, why not? To get a job out of this, to get an opportunity out of this ethereal, innocent, angelic energy that you're projecting in the month of November. So let's have a look at your emotional relationships. We've got the Ace of Cups in reverse. Fixed. I'm really getting, there's so much water. For some of you, you're actually not feeling terribly emotional. This feels very strange because, like, again, it kind of feels like you're this ethereal, angelic presence, but your emotions are actually you. I'm. I don't want to say you're going to be feeling emotionally empty because that's not necessarily what I'm getting here. But there's a sense of you kind of not like strangely feeling detached from your emotions. Like, I feel like I'm describing you like some sort of a sociopath group 3, but that's not what I mean by this group. But you might feel strangely detached from your emotions, from people that you're dealing with. At the same time, you're very dependable. It kind of feels like people can depend on you, but maybe it's because you're so detached from your emotions. There's a strange connection between this group and group number 1. If you were attracted to group number 1, I would look at that one as well. But again, if you weren't, just keep to this energy. But there is a sense of like you're dependable and you're there for people. Maybe your capacity for empathy is almost kind of like low. It's like I'm a bit low in empathy right now. You I This is such an interesting reading. I just can't seem to you're quite elusive. It's going to be very hard to grasp you, to understand you. You're kind of devious. You know what's funny? Because at the start of this reading, I was like, oh, make sure that there's no people, coming your way and, deceiving you and giving you offers just because of how you look. And I'm like, now I'm getting more and more into this energy. You're not going to let anything like that happen. You're going to be in a place where you're going to be like, you're probably watching this. You're like, girl, I know. Girl, I know. I already know. So this is what I mean. There's this sense, even the way that this reading has progressed, it's very kind of like starting out very innocent. It's kind of like people may take you for a fool or think that you're naive or innocent or just like, oh, what an innocent person. But it's like they don't actually understand how smart you are, how you are like 2 steps ahead of them. You already know what you're doing. And you're going to use that to your advantage 100%. It's like, you think I'm little innocent, naive kind of little person. I'm going to use that to my advantage. For some of you, I'm even getting like, you might be going out on dates with people and it's like, that like the person you're on a date with thinks that you're super innocent and naive and you're like using that to your advantage in some sort of way. And I'm not like, again, I'm not saying you're heartless in some sort of way or you're doing something shady, but there is an element of that. Like, I have to read the energy that I'm seeing, and there is an element of that. But at the same time, you're dependable. I think a lot of your friends and family and people dear, near, close to you, a partner of yours, can rely on you. Like, you're very reliable in the month of November. Those people who know you very well, There's a sense of dependability on you, like being able to depend on you. I'm not saying a lot of people are going to depend on you, because I think you're also not going to let people to over depend on you or use you for, like, as a crutch for something. But I think you are going to be dependable in whatever way is appropriate to people in your life. Reliable, dependable, solid, but at the same time elusive. It's like, it's so contradictory. Your energy is a little bit contradictory in the month of November. This is a very interesting reading. I feel like I'm fascinated. I can see why people are going to be fascinated by your group number 3. Like, I'm fascinated just doing this reading. It's like fascinating. So let's have a look at your spiritual and self-development, group number 3. We've got the Knight of Swords. It kind of came out in reverse, but I'm feeling it upright if I'm honest. Knight of Swords. And Jupiter. Well, I am seeing a lot of expansion in terms of your self-development, your spirituality, but I'm especially being able to put your spiritual experiences into words. I don't, that's very specific, but it feels like you could be writing about your spiritual experiences. There's a lot that you could be processing spiritually, maybe behind the scenes where you're writing about it, or you're keeping voice notes, or you're recording your spiritual understandings. But there's something, you're growing and expanding in the way that you can express your spiritual wisdom, your spiritual growth and expansion with words. Some of you could actually be teaching something spiritually, actually. If that resonates, if you're someone who's like a spiritual teacher, there is a little bit of that here. You could actually be teaching something, like teaching some sort of form of spirituality, or maybe teaching, or maybe just being like a speaker, speaking on it, speaking to the public on it. Maybe that's why all eyes on you. Maybe there's a lot of people watching like your course or a talk. But this feels very kind of like something that you've learned through life, some sort of wisdom that, and it doesn't have to be strictly like you're spiritual and it's a spiritual topic that you're speaking on. Maybe some sort of wisdom that you have gathered through your life so far, you are speaking on it in some sort of way. I'm getting some sort of public speaker vibes here for some of you. Obviously, it's not going to be for all of you. But this public speaking, you could be publicly speaking or speaking in some, like maybe you're writing something. Again, connection to the first group, can't help but notice. But there's an expression of your wisdom that is coming through that is going to attract a lot of attention. I think people are really, this kind of goes with this like attractiveness that I'm picking up on. People are attracted to your wisdom. Jupiter rules Pisces in traditional astrology. There's a wisdom to you that makes you insanely attractive to the outside world. There's a fascination. Pisces energy can gather a lot of fascination because Pisces energy is so ever changing and it's very hard to grasp. It's very hard to define. And things that are hard to define, we have like a constant obsession with, and we tend to become like very enamored with. So I feel like a lot of people are going to be enamored by you, very interested by you. I don't know, for some of you, there is an energy of you either going viral, like there is that kind of vibe. Of course, that's not going to be for everybody, but there is something like that to this as well. And I keep getting this sense of like you seeming very angelic and very wisdomous and knowing how to use that to your advantage. to progress in the world and to get good offers for yourself. So that's very interesting, group number 3. So I'm going to leave that here. Okay, so that's what I have for you, group number 3. That was a very interesting reading. I really enjoyed doing that for you. Okay, it's getting kind of dark, but we're going to keep moving. So that was our group number 3. If you like this reading, do like, subscribe, and comment, especially with your feedback. Or just comment to say hello to help me with my engagement. And also, if you feel like tipping me, you can tip me with the super thanks button, or you can tip me by clicking on the PayPal link in the description box below. But I'm going to move on. So let's keep moving. We're moving on to group number 4. So group number 4, let's see what is going on for you in November. What is the energy in November for group number 4? Potion, remember to practice self-love. Aries, affirmation for positive change. Seeker, dear spirit, and lotus room, take up space, growth, expansion, and awakening. Okay, let me think. I'm seeing a lot of optimism here, first of all. So you might feel like you're finally feeling optimistic about life in November after maybe feeling kind of down and out about life for a while, or maybe just not feeling super optimistic. Your sense of optimism definitely feels like it is increasing. Very specific message. Some of you are going to be redecorating your bedroom or your home. That is a big thing that I'm getting. And for some of you, you're also like redoing your wardrobe. You're changing the kind of clothes that you wear, etc. Yeah, I'm kind of getting new outfits, new decorations for your home. And also this optimism to keep moving forward. Some of you, if this resonates, again, not for everyone, but some of you might start dressing a lot more feminine. Like your style is gonna become a lot more feminine than it usually is. You're gonna incorporate more feminine details into your dress, into your maybe jewelry, things like that. I'm seeing like more feminine details going into the way that you dress, the way that you present yourself. Again, obviously that's not going to be for everyone, but I am definitely picking up strong vibes of that. I just can't shake this sense of optimism, like real, because what I'm noticing is like in these 3 cards, they're all kind of looking to the future. Like this person is looking to the future, this person's looking, all of them are looking ahead in these 3 cards. There's a sense of like, let's keep looking ahead, let's keep moving ahead, let's hope for the best. I'm seeing that good things are ahead of me. It feels like there's a lot of space and there's a lot of like the road ahead is clear. It's like I can see clear. Maybe for the first time in November since a very long time, you're gonna feel like you're gonna see clarity in the road ahead. Like you're gonna see clearly what is coming up, what you need to what kind of challenges are ahead of you, what kind of blessings are ahead of you, and like having that clarity and understanding is going to be really beautiful and is going to make you feel kind of excited for the future rather than fearful of it. Maybe for the first time in forever, maybe for the first time in a very long time, you're going to feel excited for the future rather than fearful of it. Let's have a look at your physical and material reality. We've got the Star card. You know what? All of these have been pretty good for this month of November. I feel like November must be a nice month for us collectively, which is nice because I feel like the last 2 months have had a lot of tough energy when I was reading, like September and October. So I feel like November for you, in terms of your physical material reality, also what I think I like here is that sense of hope. The star card represents hope, looking to the future, healing through hope. And we've got this energy of hope with all of these cards where they're looking to the future. I think you are seeing potential, and like potential to grow your finances, potential, like maybe you're seeing the potential in your business, potential in your career path that you have chosen. Again, maybe there's a very clear understanding of how you're moving through your career path. um, and you're seeing some sort of a bright future for your money, for your finances. It's, you might kind of feel like, finally I feel like my finances are going to be good, finally I feel like my money is going to be sufficient. We've got the 12th house. Kind of a difficult card to get for the material reality, but at the same time, I'm getting really good energy here. So I think there's almost a, there is a part of this group where maybe physical or material reality doesn't even matter in a way in the month of November, because you can tell by other things, by the energetic work that's happening, by the, there's something else present that is giving you hope that everything is going to work out. There's just this, in a way, there's blind faith in your material reality getting better. But I don't think it has to be so blind. Like, there could be genuine improvements in your material wealth, in your physical reality. But at the same time, you're kind of like, I know it's going to get even better. This is only the beginning. I keep getting that idea of like, this is only the beginning. This is only the beginning of the rest of my life. Like, I don't know, there's something quite grand about this energy. This is only the beginning of the rest of my life. This is only the beginning. There's so much more for me to experience, to see. There's also a lot of focus on the potential of things. So maybe you're focusing on the potential of how much money you could actually make, how successful you could actually be. But potential is really, you might be seeing your full potential in something and being really excited by that potential. Or maybe you're even noticing how you're beginning to fulfill your potential in some sort of way, and that brings a certain level of excitement to you. So, your emotional relationships. Well, some of you could actually be partnering up with someone. For, I'm kind of getting, some of you could be partnering up with someone for a project, and maybe that's why you're getting so excited. You could be partnering up to do something, to create something. For some of you, maybe you are getting into a partnership, like a romantic partnership, and it's making you feel more secure, and that's why you're kind of like feeling a lot more secure in your material reality, and you're seeing the potential of things. Um, you're going to work very well with other people, and while still maintaining your own leader like energy, because with the Aries energy, you're definitely, your leadership skills are not going away anywhere. You're very independent. There's a really good blend here of working with other people, collaborating, cooperating with other people, nurturing other people, but still being very leader like. Also, Cancer energy is a cardinal energy, and cardinal energy is very leader like. It's good at initiating. It's good at it's good at being decisive. You're going to be very decisive in the month of November. about your relationships. I also feel like your circle might get smaller but stronger in the month of November. Did I say the month of December? I feel like I said it by accident. Maybe that's important, but um, in November, I feel like your inner circle of friends, people who are close to you, people who are important to you, is getting smaller but firmer and stronger. So whoever is around you in the month of November, like those are your people. And I think you're going to become a lot more private with who you let into your private circle in the month of November. For some of you, this could also be to do with the fact that you are moving towards like a very specific way of existing, or, you know, maybe you're seeing this potential within yourself. You're seeing that you are going to be very successful, and you're recognizing that in order to have true success, you need to keep your circle like very intentional. You need to keep people who are good for you, and you need to be careful who you let into your circle. So I'm getting a very intentional energy. Like, this is the potential of what I can do with my life. This is what I need to do in order to achieve this. I believe I can be very successful. I believe that I can achieve the material wealth that I want to achieve. I'm very good at collaborating with people. I know the type of person. I think you're going to be very set on the type of person that you want to collaborate with, and the type of person that you want in your inner circle. If you're in a partnership, I feel like you and your partner are becoming a lot closer. Like, there's a lot of strong bonding that I'm feeling for those of you that are in relationships. This feels like a relationship. And you know what? I actually haven't really mentioned like people in partnerships in the other groups. I think in this group, a feeling of partnership is very strong. So if you're not in a partnership, like a romantic partnership, um, and you're looking for that, you're interested in that, there's a very good chance that you could meet someone like that in November. So someone who fulfills that feeling of, we're true partners. There's a true nurturing comfort and intimacy between us. And there's a sense of privacy. And it's not the kind of privacy that is like shady or sketchy. It's like what needs to be private stays private. The thing with Cancer energy, like, it is like all water signs can really be about privacy. There's a lot of privacy with Cancer from that perspective of like, anything that doesn't need to be shared outside of the home or the tribe, doesn't need to be shared. So you could be developing a very strong sense of intimacy with someone. You could be developing, this kind of feels like a kind of like falling in love with someone, and not going to your friends and giving them every detail of the date, or giving them every detail of what, like, the conversations that you're having with this person. Obviously to a safe degree, not that you're that you're staying safe with this person, but I think you're going to feel safe and comforted with this person. That's if you're looking for a romantic partnership, or if you are in a relationship, maybe your relationship is becoming more private and more intimate. And this could also apply to friendships. Like, maybe there's a friend that you are becoming like very close with, but there's this sense of like intimacy and privacy with that friend. So let's keep moving on to your spiritual and self-development and see what comes up there. Group 4. You are really good to yourself in the month of November. That's something that I'm picking up for sure. Like, you know how to cheer yourself up. You know how to get yourself excited about the future. You know how to get yourself optimistic. I feel like a lot of you could cheer yourself up by like getting new decor for your house or for your room, getting like a new outfit for yourself. Like there is that sense of like cheering yourself up through those kind of little things as well. But you're really good at motivating yourself and like kind of being your own hype man, being your own cheerleader. Yeah, a lot of collaboration energy is coming through. And I think you're going to be really good at cheering other people up as well. I feel in November, I'm kind of getting like group 4, they're coming into the room. The room is instantly in a better vibe and a better energy. Everyone is all of a sudden getting along better. You have a very positive, uplifting energy in the month of November, and it's not overbearing at the same time. There's a good balance between like this proactive Aries, kind of like, yes, we can do this and this is going to be great and we're very optimistic about it, but also the deer energy balances it out with like not being overbearing and not pushing it, you know? So let's see. Leo, I think you're going to be quite popular, if I'm honest. You're going to be quite popular in the month of November. I feel like people are going to be excited to see you. Like whenever you're showing up somewhere, whenever you're around, people are going to be like, oh my God, I'm so happy group 4 are here. Like there's a sense of people like getting really excited that you're walking into a room, getting really excited that you're joining a call. Um, yeah, I'm really getting the sense of popularity, but you're not striving to be popular. You're just popular because you bring a good energy into a room. Um, you are gonna. I kind of feel like you could be, without even knowing it, without even realizing it, you could be the glue to a lot of like projects or a lot of situations at work. Um, you could be the, because there's that idea of being the glue here, and like even with the material reality with the star card, there's something very optimistic about you, hopeful about you. You could be the glue to a lot of like communities or work situations, friendship groups, without kind of even realizing it. Your optimism is going to help a lot of people in the month of November, and not just yourself, you know. um, I feel like people will want to see you, want to invite you places. I think popularity is really standing out for me here with you. Like being popular, being sought after, people wanting to see you. You might get a lot of invitations like, come on, let's go here, let's hang out. Like, are you free today? That's going to be a big thing. I think your confidence is going to be soaring, but again, it doesn't. It definitely feels informed by other people too. I think there's going to be a level of validation that all these people want to see you, and you know, all these people. I think you're going to feel the excitement on people's faces when they see you in the month of November. It's kind of like it's going to be very validating, but what's going to be more validating than that is going to be your own attitude to yourself and your own like language, the way you speak to yourself, the way you connect and interact with yourself. That's going to be even more reassuring and exciting. I think you have struck a really good balance in November between being optimistic and kind of like cheerful and like a cheerleader to yourself, but also being like very gentle and soft with yourself. And you know how to channel that energy really effectively, and that spills over into your relationships as well. This just feels like such an easygoing energy. I think it's going to be very easy to get along with you in the month of November. And of course, who doesn't like that? But it's not like you're easy to get along with and like people can walk all over you. I don't even see any desire from anybody to walk all over you. It just feels like people just really like being in your energy. People like being in your presence. It's fun to be around you. It's reassuring, it's inspiring to be around you. It's really really nice. And it kind of feels like it's nice to be around you. Even you like to be around you. You know, that's really really cute and beautiful. And I think you're definitely feeling very optimistic about the potential of the future in November. So something could happen that really sets this tone of like, wow, like there's so much potential for the future. You know, whatever I thought the future held, like it holds so much more in front of me. Like really really exciting developments I feel for you, and it's all because of your own attitude and your ability to stay optimistic, I think. So that's what I have for you, group number 4. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you like this reading, do like, subscribe, and comment, especially with your feedback. I'd love to hear what you thought, but also if you just want to say hi and help me with my engagement. um Also, if you want to thank me by giving me a donation, you can do that with the super thanks button at the bottom of this video, or you can also tip me on my PayPal. My PayPal link is down below. And if you would like to connect with me through any of my services, or if you just like to connect with me, all the information for those are in the description box below as well. So I'm going to leave it here. I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!